Hi, good afternoon. Welcome. Welcome everyone to New Canaan Library for this first installment in our new World Music series. Before we start, just a couple of announcements. First, if we could please take a moment to silence our cell phones, that would be great. And just take note of all the exits from this room to your right, to your left, behind you. You can use all these doors if you need to. And we've also left a space in back open in case some of us feel the need to get up and stretch, move around, whatever. That's totally fine. You can move your chair back. It's all good. Okay, so I think we're really ready to start. It's 3 o'clock. We've probably all heard the phrase at some point that music is the universal language. And that quote is attributed to the American poet from the 19th century, Henry Wadsworth Longfellow. However, we don't need to read Longfellow to understand what it means. We know that music connects people, and it does it across language, race, ethnicity. It does it across social class, level of educational attainment, geography. Music is truly boundless in its ability to communicate emotions and experiences. As a connector of people with information, knowledge, and each other, this is why we have launched a World Music series at New Canaan Library. For our inaugural performance, we're delighted to be partnering with the India Cultural Center. The India Cultural Center celebrates the arts and culture of India in ways that invite everyone of all ages to take part, not only through music, but also dance, film, lectures, and celebrations. Like New Canaan Library, ICC believes that a strong community is built on shared experiences. So we're both extremely pleased to welcome master musicians Ranendra Das and Satyaki Dutta, who will today be performing music from a tradition that dates back over 6,000 years. Now, we don't have clear historical records for much of this music because it began as an oral tradition passed down from teacher to student. Our performers today have been formally trained in their art. They are recipients of these techniques and knowledge and have achieved such mastery that they now are in turn passing it on. Ranendra will be playing the tabla, a North Indian instrument that consists of 2 drum heads made of goatskin. Satyaki will be playing the sarod, also a North Indian instrument, this one descending from the lute family, with 8 main strings and 15 additional sympathetic strings. And now, let's please allow them and their instruments to speak for themselves. Help me welcome Ranendra Das and Satyaki Dutta.
Can you hear me? Okay. Thank you all for coming. Those of you who are unfamiliar with this genre, I just want to say a little bit about this. What I would play is called a raga. The meaning of this word raga is that which colors, which means it's all about emotion. It's like any other music. Indian music is also about emotions. Every raga is built to capture a certain emotion and to invoke that when it's played. That's the main idea of a raga. So I would play a raga called Bhimpalasi today. I'll start with the way we start, which is slowly build the raga. So I would start with a melodic piece, which is slow, without any rhythm. It's called the alap, or the introduction. When I'll finish, I would probably like to know from you what kind of emotion do you think it invoked?
Thank you, everyone. So we are going to start with the rhythmic cycle. Anybody have seen? Please don't. Before we start, I would appreciate if you don't record it because we are recording it. So, we are just we've decided not to do that. So anybody seen this instrument before? Tabla before? Okay. Okay, good. For rest of who haven't seen it, this is called North Indian drum, called tabla, 2 pieces of drum. Tabla means percussion. It's a Persian word. And both drums are made out of goat skin. And you can see the right-hand drum and left-hand drum. It's basically called Dahina and Baya. We have language in tabla playing. It's like when you go to a pre-K or first grade, A, B, C, D, we have language. I'm going to say, for instance, ta. It's a consonant, I say. Ta, na, tete, gege. Then I call them vowel, which is come both hand together, called dha. Stuff like that. So sometimes we can talk, whatever we conversation, we can actually show on tabla. Like gegetere nanagen. Maybe somebody's crying when he was playing, and then I can say, can you please quiet? Can you please quiet? We can have a conversation like that with the tabla. So tabla is a rhythmic cycle. It's so Indian, two aspects in Indian music. One is the melodic aspect, which is you heard. And tabla, we're going to do rhythmic cycle. So now you will see how I'm going to join with Satyaki.
Should I talk about this one?
Thank you. Yes.
So I'm pretty sure almost nobody has seen this. Probably, right? Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay. So this instrument is called Sarod. This particular instrument, the Sarod, is not very old. It's like about 250 years old, but it's derived from an instrument that is very old. So let me just tell you a little bit about how this instrument was created. So in the 1800s, there were a lot of people from Afghanistan. They used to migrate. They were migrating to India as mercenaries and horse traders. They used to trade their horses at the Mughal army. And many of them were actually amateur musicians, and they would bring with them what it still exists is the Afghani rabab. It's a smaller version of this. It does not have a metal plate. It's all wood, but has a goat skin. And the strings are gut strings. So it does not have the resonance that the sarod has. And they would migrate and they would stay, they would live in India, they would breed their horses, they would sell them to the Mughal army, and they would also practice their musical instrument, the Afghani rabab, which, by the way, is now, I think, the national instrument of Afghanistan. So it's very much there. One of these people who came to India, his name was Niamatul Khan. He happens to be the ancestor of one of my teachers. He was very fascinated by the Indian music because people from Afghanistan weren't playing the Indian music as we were. And he went to the king's court and spoke to the court musician whose name was Basat Khan. He was a direct descendant of Tansen. He was one of the 9 jewels of Emperor Akbar. I probably shouldn't digress in that area because that would be another few minutes. So let's just leave it there. So he went and talked to Basat Khan. He said that, can you teach me your music on my instrument? And Basat Khan just sent him back saying that, look, you have only 1.5 octave, instrument doesn't resonate, you cannot do Indian music in that instrument. So he was sent back, and then, but he was very determined. So he went back home, and what he did, he combined the Afghani rabab with something that already existed in India called a shusringar. Shusringar, you can think of that as a bass sarod. It's bigger in size than the sarod. And then the sympathetic strings, which we have here, they weren't there. In Shusringar, they don't have it. And this thing is not made of goat skin, but it's just made of wood. The whole thing is made of wood with metal plate and metal strings and no sympathetic strings. So he took that idea and put it into the rabab, made it a little larger, and made the sarod. So it's a combination of Shusringar and rabab. And in terms of playing, we have the 4 main strings that we play, and these strings that I talked about, the sympathetic strings, those are tuned to the raga that I'm playing. So the notes that I'm using to play that raga, those strings are tuned to that. So they resonate and keep the sound, make the sound persist longer. So, yeah. So we'll get started.
We'll have a Q&A after class, so we will talk about it if you have a question.
a totally different mode though.
Oh my goodness. This has been amazing. This is the best way to spend a Saturday afternoon that I can think of. I don't know if we want to move to Q&A or maybe have another short piece. Do people feel moved to ask questions, or raise your hand if you do, because I'll come to you.
Do you guys like it or just wrap it up?
Okay. Okay.
Short piece? Okay.
I have so many questions about this. I'm a violinist, classically trained. Is this music written like compositions written down like our Western music that you memorize and play, or suggested motives, or how do you put all this together?
Yeah. So this is actually like learning a language. So what you have here, part of it is written. Written now, but earlier it wasn't either. So the way it works is when you learn a raga, it's a melodic framework. And what it tells you is that which notes you're going to use to construct that framework and how you would move along within notes. So let's say in a certain raga, you can go first, third, second, but you cannot go first, second, third. And there are a few reasons for that. One is that it just creates that emotion if you go that way as opposed to the other way. The other reason is that when people started making different ragas, you had to distinguish them one from the other. If you're going to use the same phrase for all the ragas, then people who are listening wouldn't know which raga is being performed. So that's the second reason. But most importantly, it's the fact that you have to bring out the emotion, and that's why the combinations of notes are chosen the way they are chosen. So when you learn a raga, what you learn are the ways you can move around. And as far as the raga is concerned, that's all you need to know, that if you expand on a phrase, these are the ways you can move around between notes. And that would define your raga. But in terms of what I played, there are certain parts which are pre-composed. Those are called bandishes or guts, pre-composed by somebody else, but even the musician who's performing could have also composed it, but that's not improvisational. So that piece is there, and you choose which pre-composed composition you want to play, and then you expand on that. So it's more like jazz.
So as you're, can I chip in? So if you cannot think of in terms of Western classical, it's because it's basically, if you think about the harmony or figure bass or even counterpoint, it doesn't exist there. So you have to think there are some certain structure, as he said. You have to work on that structure. How we come together, the rhythmic cycle, he knows, and I know, the same rhythmic cycle, we just kind of improvise based on that. So what we play 4/4, we call a 16-beat rhythmic cycle. Basically, it's 4/4, and if you do this time signature, any Beethoven, but it kind of move on to different scansions or any other rhythmic pattern. But we kind of cycle the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, like we go based on that. That makes it different than Western classical.
We have a quick question here from a boy in the audience, and then if we can move to maybe like a short piece to finish us off. Okay.
When did you start learning tabla?
When did you start learning to play? Okay.
When did I start learning to play?
Yeah, how long does it take to get to this point? When did you start?
There is no measurement.
Yeah, 30 years probably.
Pre-K, K, then first grade, second, third, fourth, 10, high school, then for 4 years in...
Renendra, you said you started in the womb, right? Because
my dad, I grew up in a folk tradition, so they used to sing, my dad used to sing, like, my mom, back in the days, or I don't know, I guess every parent does when, mom get pregnant and dad sing and stuff like that. So that's where I started. But growing up, it's all India radio. I don't know, not now. Everybody now go YouTube. Back in the days, there wasn't any YouTube. So only thing we have, all India radio. Listen to it, 6:30, the classical. And local musicians come to our house and they have tea, coffee, and dance and learn. That's what it is. And how long it takes, there is no measurement. Like you go high school, then college, then if you want to go med, to go another 10 years, engineering. So that's what it is.
I think it's more like learning a subject, really. Like when you, even after you do a PhD, you don't stop, right? You still learn, and it's basically the same.
Publishing articles and yes.
Oh, wait, can you speak into the mic? Because we're
No, we
recording
can hear.
this, and we'd love to hear your question.
I'll try to keep it short. It's maybe a little technical. I love the Beamplasi, by the way, and I'm somewhat familiar with the pentatonic ascending scale and the septatonic coming down. But my question to you is, for my understanding, when you have the sympathetic strings, I'm not familiar with the sarod. How does it work? Namely, I also have a part 2 question, which is if you want to play a B flat and a B sharp, and the strings are tuned only to B flat, how would it sound if you played the B sharp on the main strings? Thank you.
So let's say I tune this to B sharp, and if I play B sharp, this will start resonating. The sympathetic string would start resonating, but and the sound will sustain longer. But if you play B flat and you're tuned to B sharp, then it's just that strings resonate, vibrating, and that's all. Nothing else will vibrate, so the sound would die sooner.
Can we have a short one to close us out? And by the way, before everyone leaves, there's a table in back if we want to get CDs or literature about how to continue learning about this music. Oh, who has a question?
We could talk. Yes.
The little hammer. The question was, what was the little hammer? It was for tuning. Okay.
Also, if student doesn't listen, in my time, not now, it's like people who came from India, they know what I'm talking about.
So those of you who are familiar with the scale, and the rag Bhairavi, I'm just going to play the notes for you. We have a set of compositions in our Gharana. Each composition starts at a different note of the Bhairavi. So I'm going to play the notes first. So the first one would start, you can actually play the first beat loud so that people can hear. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So the first one would start at the first note of Bhairavi, which is. Next one would start at this. Third one would start at this. And so on. Okay. So I'll start. I'll spend too much time.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Ranendra and Satyaki. Friends, the library is open until 5, so please feel free to stay and ask your questions or chat up Ranendra and Satyaki.
I wanted to let you know, Satyaki and I will be playing December 14th in Hamden, New Haven area. So if you like us playing, please come and join us and support.
How can we
Indian
keep in touch with you? Do you have Instagram or
I don't do
social media? You're smart. You do,
I'm very
Satyaki?
bad at this. But my wife, she put something in there. So
Okay, there's some, if you'd like to purchase a CD.
yeah, I'm bad at this business.
Or, yeah, you're musicians.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you so much.
I don't promote myself.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thank you very much.